Welcome, Missing Witches Coven, and happy LAMMAS. Today we celebrate the halfway point between the summer solstice and the fall equinox with a spiritual feast. Today I'm joined by Christena Cleveland, PhD, a social psychologist, public theologian, mystic, activist, a good friend, and author of some of our favorite books, including God is a Black Woman and the brand new, life altering The Black Madonna, Icon of Resistance and Nourisher of Souls. I also invited a co host today, another good friend, Kay Reed Stevenson, another PhD, a former pastor, working her way through deconstructing a lifetime of programming. Now she's a witch. Join us for a Luna Shah party where we discover a profound love, nurturing, and maybe even find God. If you want to support the Missing Witches Project, join the Coven. Come check out the new world we're building, the things that we're imagining and creating together. Go to missingwitches.com.
You aren't being a proper woman, therefore you must be a witch. You must be a witch.
Happy LAMMAS, and of course, Christena, happy birthday. I know it's coming up very, very soon. An early August Leo baby, and I know that you have brought your Leo energy to fill this space with your light. Also, thank you, Reed, for being here. As y'all heard in the introduction, Reed is a former pastor, an academic, and also, most importantly for this conversation, a Christena Cleveland super fan. So I've known you, Christena, for years. I've known you, Reed, for years. I hope that this can be like a coffee chat among friends about this deeply, deeply, deeply incredible book of yours, Christena, that just came out, The Black Madonna. I expected the book to be brilliant. It's you and thoughtful and personal and historical, but I was not prepared for how deeply and profoundly healing the book would be for me personally. I recognize that not everything is for me, and that's okay. But the exercises that you put at the end of each chapter to help the reader integrate what you're talking about and the stories, I felt so held in the reading of this book. And I mean, we'll go on, and I have a million quotes. I feel like this whole conversation is just going to be me reading your own quotes back to you. But I want to open with, firstly, you need no introduction, but feel free to introduce yourself any way you please. And then if you could help us invoke the Black Madonna to open this conversation.
Thank you, Amy. And Reed, it's so glad to have you in this conversation. I'm Christena. My last name is Cleveland. I am a Black Madonna fanatic and student and mentee. I'm lucky enough to write books about Black Madonna. I'm lucky enough to lead a tiny but potent Black Madonna spiritual community called the Black Madonna Freedom School. And I'm just really grateful to be here today. I will say this is the first podcast conversation I'm going to do for this book. So it feels really special. And I've only said yes to maybe half a dozen because with God as a Black Woman, I had a publicist who was booking a lot. And so this is actually the only one that I did then that was booked by my publicist that I actually was excited to do and stayed connected with. So it feels very beautiful to be starting here with Missing Witches.
I mean, we just love you. So,
Oh, well, I love you all too. I'm a part of the coven and I have been, and I've enjoyed it. Just, yeah, it's just been a gift to me. So usually, you go on a podcast and you're like, great, don't call me. I'll call you. But with you all, it's
yes.
been different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's me. I'm really grateful to be here and honored.
So
Yeah.
each of the chapters of the Black Madonna begins with an invocation to the Black Madonna. So
Mm.
can we invoke her now?
Sure, sure. I'll read invocation 4 to start.
Thank you.
Um, yeah. Subterranean lady who holds the world in balance. You beckon us, the undermothered and overloaded, to swap our baggage for ease. Oh, supreme ease in your unfathomably strong and bountiful arms. Pregnant virgin, keeper of the cosmic crypt, neither void nor death can thwart your seat of life. Impregnate us with your everlasting abundance as our burdened and barren souls drink from your holy well. Our Lady of the Labyrinth, you deftly deliver us just in the nick of time when life's linear booby trapped maze is set to discourage and detonate. You whisk us away to your circle where love is ever in bloom. Miracle working OBGYN, our resurrection doula, when toxic lies inseminate our body and soul, you pull death from our womb and deliver nothing but life, more life, indomitable life. Spiral seer, your cosmic hands are the gateway to life. You guide each stride, assuring your dear ones that every direction, north, south, east, or west, is anointed, tended, and lavished by you. Ashe.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And I feel like your words have really brought the Black Madonna into this space if she wasn't here already, which she was. And the book is so much about love, about a kind of love that we can't even necessarily imagine. Um, you wrote so much about coming to this place where you could receive that love without being suspicious. Reed, I think you have a quote. Reed and I, of course, have been talking about the book to each other, and Reed sent me this.
This was something that just stopped me in the middle of my reading. In other words, profound love doesn't play games. Keep the recipient guessing or even require the recipient to decipher its meaning. Profound love speaks directly to the recipient's deepest and even unconscious stories, affirming that they are cherished, embraced, protected, seen, and irreplaceable. Practically speaking, profound love is freely given and ever willing to go the distance in order to express itself. And then here's the part that just profound love doesn't lecture an unloved person with, once you learn to love yourself, others will love you. No, profound love says, I see you. I see that you don't yet know that you are dearly loved. I will love you and keep loving you until you are so clothed in love that being loved and lovable becomes your deepest truth. Holy shit. That just, you know, being someone who has been looking for that kind of love in religious spaces for a really long time, thinking you found it only to have that love then suddenly come with conditions. Well, I said it this way, or I meant it this way, or obviously you didn't understand. But as someone who, and you talked about your Malcolm, your nibbling, who was throwing that tantrum. I am Malcolm so many times. I've seen Malcolm in me and have been so ashamed of that. But to have you talk about how his mother helped him regulate and how, he was an altar for a wild passing God. I'd love to hear more about wild passing God, but just to just sit in that knowledge and knowing that the ways that we were taught that love, taught what love was and the conditions, just to see that completely, no, that's not the truth. So thank you for writing that, Christina.
Mm.
So, so talk to us a little bit about, firstly, we'll get to Malcolm for sure, because I want to hear about how we all can create altars to wild passing gods. But firstly, talk to us about profound love and what effect that accepting this or recognizing it can have on us and on our lives.
Yeah, I mean, it's a journey for me too. Thank you for reading those words out loud. Um, you know, it feels like a trap a lot of the times. It feels, I think so many of us have been hazed in spiritual spaces, had to jump through hoops, that tangle, like what Reed talked about, where it's like, now it's here, but then it's not because you did something, but you don't know exactly what you did. And so for me, it has just been trying to be present to it without bringing my own ego defensive need to offer something, to offer something. And it's a constant, literally, like my daily meditation is the Black Madonna of Einsiedeln is in Switzerland. And when I went to visit her for the first time, like a little over a year ago, she's known as Our Lady, the Ominously Dark Forest. So like I had I was gonna brief her on the state of the world. Like I had a list of like global, regional, and personal issues that I was like, do you know? Like, I know you're here in this like monastery, but like, do you really know? Like, and I whipped out my list, and all I could feel from her was, shh. She said, I've been waiting for you to come since you were 6 years old. Because I remember being at evangelical summer camp in the Redwoods and hearing a voice saying, I'm right here, Christina. I'm right here, Christina. But I didn't know who it was. I thought it was like Casper the Friendly Goat. Because like, I was like, it's not God because God's male and scary. So like, I don't know what this is. But like, so then I immediately was like, oh my gosh, that was you. So she's like, yeah, I've been waiting for almost 40 years. I just want you to be here. I just want you to be here. And so then I was like, I was almost I almost felt tortured in the moment. And this really brought to the surface how much I'm uncomfortable with unconditional embrace. Because I was like, this is literally what I've been longing for a divine being to say to me my whole life. And now that I'm here doing it, I'm like, I don't like this. I want things to do. Like, I want to show you. And so it was so uncomfortable. Now, a lot of my daily practice is sitting with this little statue I have of hers and just receiving, just opening to the love. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to, just my presence is a delight to you. Are you kidding? I can just sit here and like daydream, or my mind can wander, or I can talk to you about what's bothering me, or I can just literally do nothing. And so I've been doing that. And in that practice, I've decided to set up a little Black Madonna altar for my inner child. And so I took like a caboodle case. You know the caboodle cases? I
Oh,
don't know
is
if
it
it's
like a makeup
Canadian.
case?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we
yeah.
all had, like if you're like an elder millennial young Gen Xer like me, it's like we all had those in like sixth grade. So I made my little kitty altar out of that so that like I can invite my inner child to sit with her too. And it's like, just sit here and play. she just delights in you playing and like having fun. And so my inner child's been helping me compose that altar and like what goes in it. And but you know, I just it's been an ongoing, it's really a daily practice for me. I mean, I'm an Enneagram 1, so I feel like I always need to do and perform, and it's a constant. Yeah, I wish I had. Yeah, I mean, I don't wish I had the answer, but I can just say it's a really beautiful unraveling.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Mm.
mean, there are so many different like forms of brainwashing that you talk about in the book. Um,
Yeah.
what you're talking about sounds to me like that capitalist brainwashing of you always need to be performing or
Hustle.
offering.
Offering something. Yeah, everything has to be an exchange.
Yes.
Everything has to be a transaction.
Yes.
Even with the divine being. But I'm learning a lot about matriarchal studies, like historical matriarchal studies, and the maternal gift economy was not an equal exchange. It was unilateral giving and unilateral receiving, and so this is the goddess model. So it's the unraveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask this before we return to Malcolm. You wrote, there was just one enormous problem. I had been so deeply programmed by our modern day plantation society that I didn't quite know how to be free.
Yeah.
I think that probably most of our listeners, most of the people I know, they want freedom, they want liberation, whatever that means to them, but they don't actually know what it looks like. Maybe because our society has programmed us so far from any kind of real freedom or liberation. I do want to say I checked. The words free or freedom appear in the Black Madonna 105 times. So I want to know, have you gotten any closer to knowing how to be free and
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
so tell us, what
Oh,
is it?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's still an ongoing journey, but I mean, so much growth and release. So I'll say it this way. One of the younger folks who's worked with me for a few years said, if there's anything that I can walk away with knowing for sure, having worked with you, is that I can walk into any space and immediately be like, I'm too sacred for this. And so I think that is embodying that energy of knowing I am inherently sacred. It is my birthright. I don't need anybody to confer that on me. I don't need anybody to legitimize that. I don't need anybody to co-sign on that. And also to be able to remove myself from situations with confidence that Black Madonna is going to provide what I need, that I don't have to stay in a plantation situation or a plantation relationship or plantation spirituality. I can take that uncertain, unknown step off. So I think it's the combination of knowing I'm sacred and moving on it. I can do that so much faster. I can do that so much with so much more confidence in the universe, which I've decided is Black Madonna's body. You know? And so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to, I just feel like I made so many decisions in the past because I thought I had to in order to pay my bills, in order to keep health insurance. I'm in the US where, in order to feel loved or in order to have this stability of a relationship or, I just made so many decisions in order to be significant. And now I'm just like, no, I'm too sacred for this. And we out.
Yeah. That we are allowed to make these decisions for ourselves. I want to thank you again, and I told you this. I read page 1 of the Black Madonna, and in this you are sort of conjuring an enslaved ancestor who looked at her situation and said, I'm too sacred for this. And then it's a theme that carries on through the book. But I just want you to know that
Mm.
I'm too sacred for this immediately became a catchphrase. Reed, you can
Mm.
attest to this.
Oh, I
I
can, I
took a
can.
screenshot. I
Mhm.
sent it to like group
Mhm.
texts, like Christina Cleveland's got
Mhm.
the new, we're not saying I'm too old for
Mhm.
this anymore. We're not saying,
Mhm.
we are saying
Mhm.
I'm too sacred
You're
for
sacred for
this.
this. Yeah.
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 If
But that birthright sacredness, that's just been ripped from us. But that, I mean, that's what I love about Black Madonna and the fact that Black Madonna is forever is like, this is our deepest DNA. Like there's been genetic DNA piled, on top of that. But this is who we really are. I'm
Hmm.
like, wow, that's really powerful to me. Um, and it's a daily. I mean, it's again one of those daily things where it's like, I'm too sacred to be stressing over what that person thinks of me. I'm
Yeah.
too sacred to, you know what I mean? Like, it shows up in all these ways. Yeah.
There's something that I feel that's in this. I'm too sacred. It's part permission until you realize like there is this acceptance, like you were talking about, that it's in our very DNA. Um,
Mhm.
and one of the things as I was reading your book, I felt myself even still, I only rescinded my credentials of ordination not quite 6 years ago. So I'm still, even though I was deconstructing long before I left the church, grew up Church of God, Pentecostal, Cleveland, Tennessee. So all
Oh
of
yeah,
that,
no, yeah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
yeah,
all of that
okay,
bullshit, still
yeah,
kind of
uh-huh.
sits in my body. So I felt myself going, okay, I want this. I want to
Mhm.
believe this, but I'm still the phrase that comes to my mind is a line from Girls Against God from Florence and the Machine. What a thing to
Mhm.
admit that when someone looks at me with real love, I don't like it very much. It kind of makes me feel like I'm being crushed.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
those
Mhm.
that like feeling the weight, and I know I'm
Mhm.
using my hands a lot, so people can't see, but feeling the weight like come down on you of this
Yeah.
love.
Right. That's how I felt with Our Lady of Einsiedeln. I was just like, take it away. Like, but
Yeah,
here's the
yeah.
thing. And I say this in our school all the time, Black Madonna is trauma informed. Like
Mm,
she gets it. She's like, girl, I get it. Like, it's not she doesn't take it personally. She's like, we can go at the pace that works for you. You
yeah,
don't have to prove, and even that you don't have to prove. You don't even have to receive my love. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to be ready to trust. You don't have to be like, I love how she's so just like, I'll meet you where you are.
yeah,
Like, and I'm not trying to rush you. I'm not trying, you don't have to, especially in like a lot of Christian patriarchal spaces, it's like you have to be vulnerable before it's actually safe to do that
mhm,
as a way to prove that you are committed. And she's
yeah,
like, you don't have to do that. She's like, you're triggered. I get it. I'm not going to be like, but not all gods. You know what I mean, or whatever.
right,
You know what I mean? Like,
right, right, yeah, and
get
just the
it.
difference.
Like, yeah.
There's a huge difference in the way that you are introducing us to the Black
Mm.
Madonna. Um, is really helpful in that way. Thank you for reminding me the trauma informed part, because my hypervigilance keeps wanting to go, nope, can't trust.
Mhm.
And so,
Mhm.
um, but as I have kind of in my journey thought about the divine feminine and the Black Madonna, I am finding that I do have little statues that will show up. Someone will go, here, try this, do that. And so it's like, and I'm going to be in Spain in November, not very far from the
Mhm.
Black Madonna of Montserrat.
Mhm.
So already planning to go.
Special. Yeah.
I'm gonna put myself into it, Christina. I'm gonna try it because
Mhm.
it is our fucking birthright. It is our birthright. And
Mhm.
so thank you for just
Mhm.
I sharing, like saying, hey, look at this. We can have it. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
we we can have it. but I do want to firmly underscore the idea that Black Madonna is Black
Yeah.
beyond speculation.
Yeah.
So maybe she is for everyone, but I mean,
It's a both and.
yeah, yeah,
She's like, it's, and I think people really struggle to understand that. I mean, oh, you should see how much people don't love in the traditional Black Madonna community, don't love that I've really highlighted and positioned her as Black, you know,
yes.
because they don't want to deal with their whatever. Anyways,
Well, and
but
there was that one thing about like, oh, she's just been discolored by the
yeah,
soot from
mhm,
candles. Come
yeah, and that,
on.
yeah,
Every single one, every
Every
single
yeah,
single
one.
and just the
mhm,
face, just the
yeah,
skin.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so, you know, but I think here's what I think about knowing that you're truly sacred. It's not an escapist. It's not spiritual bypassing. If you truly know that you're sacred, you're going to be like Harriet Tubman and you're going to spend the rest of your life going back and making sure that as many people possible know that they're sacred too. And so I think, you know, people who are uncomfortable with the Black Madonna's Blackness are uncomfortable with being accountable to their birthright sacredness. But if we truly are sacred, then we would want everybody to have that. And we would fight to the death for everybody to have that. Because what is life if you're not sacred? And so, you know, the Black Madonna, and that, I mean, that's for everybody. That's for me as a cis Black woman, because Black Madonna is Black and trans, you know, and so it's like I can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm sacred, and then you white people have to do your work. It's like, no, I have to do my work, right? Like we all have ways in which Black Madonna is saying there's more love, and I want you to embody it.
Thank you for the segue. I wanted to bring up this because I mean, again, the book encompasses so much. You know, you trace Black liberation through like Congolese enslaved people rebellion and Harriet
Which
Tubman
was so
and George
cool.
Floyd.
Which was
Very
so
cool.
cool.
But you wrote Harriet Tubman. Harriet understood that love and accountability are two sides of the same coin. I mean, that's what you were just talking about, but say more, say more, say more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, love is a verb too. And Bell Hooks said that. So, I'm not making this up. And it doesn't, it's about, but love is about healing and connection. It's not about feeling good. And so I think Black Madonna, I mean, Black Madonna is a typical, is a good mother. She wants us to be well. She wants us to be on the path that is right for us. You know, we get to co-create that with her. So it's not like she's telling us, it's not patriarchal, right? She's not telling us, but she wants us to be free. And those are things that we can't do without accountability. And I mean, even like, even in the communities that I'm in, the hard conversations are the ones that help me be more free. The accountability is what helps me be more free. The accountability helps me go beyond just I want to be this kind of leader to I am actually embodying this type of leader. And without that, and I just think we live in this society where I mean, I kind of get it because life is hard. Like life is so violent, we're overloaded. And also, if we don't have, so I can see why people are constantly turning to spirituality as a warm blanket, you know? But that's only, I mean, that to me, that just feels like a band-aid. And also, if you're not a Black trans woman, if you're not like a poor Black trans woman who's probably disabled too, and all these, and a bunch of other things, and you're going to the Black Madonna for just comfort, that's just mammyism. That is literally just mammyism. Because that's historically
she's not the magical Negro who's going to show
no,
up
and
and solve your
historically,
problems.
right, and I in the book I talk about how this sacred dark goddess image is like written into our consciousness, our collective consciousness. Like Carl Jung said that, okay, but like the most enduring stereotype of Black women in the world is the mammy.
Yes.
Which just goes to show how much our society is uncomfortable with the unconscious, you know? And so that's why I'm like, if anytime we're mammifying her, we're really just literally like abusing her sacred Black feminine body. And so I think the love and accountability has to come through in Black Madonna devotion, because otherwise it's just like white patriarchal God in blackface. It's just gross, you know. Yeah. And we can all fall into that.
Yeah, that's really helpful, Christina, the way that you said that. Like, there's something happening in the spiritual community right now online where there's a lot of spiritual bypassing and people who have been respected in the community that are creating content for less than above board type things. And so there's this big conversation around spiritual bypassing and accountability that I see people going, well, we're just going to write them off because they're that. And there is a thing of not giving your attention to that kind of content. But I'm just going to put it out here. As I've been reading the book as a white lady, I'm like, I don't like the tension that I felt going, I am a white lady. I'm going to come to this person. I'm doing my work. Am I like, how do I don't want to use the word negotiate, but how do I develop this?
Navigate.
How do I, navigate? How do I navigate this? Especially, and I hope this makes sense, but back in spiritual communities that I was part of, one of the reasons I could no longer be a priest is because I didn't believe the creed. I couldn't stand in front of someone and say the creed. I was like, can't do it, don't believe it, not going to ask people to do it. But there is this thing of not spiritual bypassing, but sharing lack of accountability in that you don't have to understand it right now because I understand it, so I've got you. Or someone else in the crowd. How does that play into this cauldron? Or, I mean, do you have any thoughts or comments on that? I did ask a couple questions right in there. So I talked about my discomfort, not wanting to practice mammyism, but also the spiritual bypass that happens in the wider spiritual community and the lack of accountability. Well, you already answered that question. Never mind, proceed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not sure I quite perfectly understand your question, but I'm wondering if what you're getting at is how I'll say white people as an example, in some might have more awareness and understanding, but they're not holding the other white people accountable.
Yes.
So it's enabling.
Yes.
When really that's the work that's your work.
Okay.
Is there a tension between accountability and the unconditional part of unconditional love? Is accountability a condition of unconditional love?
Interesting.
Thanks, Amy.
That's a good question. Yeah, I really hesitate to define unconditional love. Here's what I feel. My experience of Black Madonna is that she doesn't follow her own rules. So I feel like she does what that person needs. I remember when I was a professor, because I was a professor for 11 years, and one of my department chairs who I respected a lot said, you do what the student needs. If the student needs lenience, if that's what's going to serve the student in this moment, give them lenience. If holding them to the syllabus and doubling down, do that. Like, so kind of a case by case. And I kind of feel like Black Madonna does that. I also think though, and here's where it gets even more complicated, because she's a bit of a trickster. And she's innovative. She's not slippery, she's not flaky, but she's innovative, you know. And so, because you obviously have these experience, you see these stories of like Black Madonna disappearing people, right? Like, so obviously, in our collective consciousness, there's an experience of Black Madonna who is holding people quite accountable, right? And also, I'm starting to think and believe that her quote, killing them is based on their perception of her, is based on their limitations. And so it's like, if the only way they can interact with the divine is in this violent way, that's part of their psyche. Like, I'm blanking on the word that I'm wanting to use, but like, it's almost like we co-create the God space with her. And so how she shows up has a lot to do with our own archetypes in our own. And so I'm wondering if these super violent patriarchal men in medieval France could only experience her as someone who disappeared them. And therefore they like, maybe if they were different, it could have been a conversation. Because there's another story in Spain, also in the medieval times, where a woman was, and I tell it in the book, I think in the final chapter, where a woman was, her husband was cheating on her with the local, so with a woman in the village, and Black Madonna appeared to them, and they were able to resolve things amicably and non-violently, right? So it's like, I kind of want, it's like, how is our expectation of her, how is our the boxes we put her in, how do those impact our experience of her? So is she violent or are we violent, right? Like, is she, like, yeah, that's the question.
That made so much sense to me. Thank you. You said you were an Enneagram 1. I'm an Enneagram 8. I wake up in the morning ready to fight somebody.
I feel like eights wake up and they're just like bullshit to everything.
Yeah,
like, good morning,
much.
bullshit.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to prove you
what
wrong.
What are you mad about?
So many things. So what I hear you saying about, and like how we are co-creating our spaces. So knowing, showing, coming to the Black Madonna going, I am a white cis lady. I want to do my work so that I can honor the sacred in everybody. And can you hold my anger, please? Because it's killing me.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
And I was going to say, circling back to that, I think the word I was thinking of was projection. Like, it was their projection of her, right, that killed them. Yeah, rather than necessarily she killed them. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And I appreciated those stories. I also appreciated the Our Lady of Charity, and how you were talking about how it had to be that the Black Madonna showed up to this person who worked for the king, but then also was enslaved, and how those connections to those people and those bodies and those social situations were able to spread. Yeah. So.
And it was, her love was so strategic, so personalized. And, this is something we talk about all the time in my community. Like, if you are at that place where you feel abandoned, because like, of course we do, right? Like, we're all dealing with illusions of divine abandonment, like all the time. And everything in our culture is like poking at that. So we might get to like a point where we're like, okay, I kind of feel safe in this moment. And then we walk outside and something happens and we're like back to, God, are you there? Right? Like, so we're all constantly fighting this. And so I'm like, Black Madonna, I need receipts right now. Like, help me believe, show me in a super personal way that I cannot rationalize away. I cannot, show me that you know me, you know what I need, and you got me. And I think that's what she did for the Afro-Cuban folks. She's like, I'm going to show up looking like you. I'm going to show up acting like you. I'm going to strategically connect with the people that that have credibility with you, you know, it's so generous.
And in this story, Black Madonna is also the Orisha Oshun. She is all
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
You said
yeah.
this turn of phrase, illusions of divine abandonment. So I have to ask this on behalf of the Missing Witches Coven. We have been talking so much about deity. A lot of us either
I
come
heard that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, from like we have either been traumatized by, you know, an unhealthy and abusive church system, or we come in, we believe in science and we're militant atheists. And there is this crumbling I am seeing of the illusion of divine abandonment, where people are coming to me and saying, and this is happening to me too, are saying, I picked up working with this deity as a lark. I figured it couldn't hurt, worth an experiment. And now these things are happening. These things are falling into place. These problems are being solved without my interference. And one coven mate said to me, am I a deist? Like, do I believe in God? In this almost horrified, confused way. So I ask you, Christina Cleveland, are gods, is God real? Is it a symbol that we've created of the connection that we're making with each other? Is it an avatar? What is God?
Mm.
It's a small question.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say it doesn't matter to me. Now, I don't have, I mean, you know, I might be in a different place than people who, for whom, you know, it really is important for them to have some semblance of certainty, or even not certainty, but just geography around it, maybe, you know. But here's why I believe in Black Madonna and believe that God is a Black woman who affirms the sacredness of all people. Because it makes me a kinder, softer, more courageous person.
Big
That's
deep exhale over here. Please keep talking.
yeah, that's it doesn't matter. What matters is how I show up in this world that desperately needs my gifts in a gentle but fiery, in a loving but stirring shit up way. And I can't, I've done it. I've done it on my own. I've done it without having this conception of a divine being. I've done it without having, you know, whether she's a figment of our imagination, whether she's a projection, whether she's, you know, pieced together by our collective consciousness. I have a place where I can safely lay my burdens down and where I can right size my ego and also be empowered to do the healing work that I'm called to do without taking on responsibilities that are not mine, without playing God, without needing to be a savior. I'm blessedly replaceable, but also absolutely irreplaceable at the same time. And she makes that possible for me.
What an incredible spiritual teacher you are. We talked about Malcolm, and I don't want to leave that thread. I don't want to leave that thread dangling in the wind for listeners who are like,
People are going to
what
be like,
about
who's Malcolm?
Malcolm?
Malcolm X? Malcolm? Yeah.
So tell us whatever you want to tell us about Malcolm. But also, my question is, how can my tantrum be an altar?
Yeah. So Malcolm's my little nibbling. He is now about to be 6. We have the same birthday, so he's about to be 6. I'm about to be 46. Um, yeah, you know, he likes to he has his tantrums. You know what I love about those kids? There are 4 of them, but like what I love is they actually get to be kids. like they get to be humans with like real feelings and confusion, and like it's okay that they don't know how to communicate their needs, and it's okay, I love that. It's triggering though, because I go and spend time with them and I get so angry that they are just running wild. And so every single day when I go visit them, I have my own little studio apartment in their basement. They call it Auntie Nina's room. And so I'll get triggered when I see how gracious their parents are, because it's just it's that was not how I was raised. And so I've been learning to ask myself, and this is where I think it's the altar piece, right? Like I've been learning to ask myself, why exactly am I triggered? Because this kid's not a threat to me. I am not threatened. Like I'm safe. And I was talking to Black Madonna, and Black Madonna said, "You're mad that he's getting unconditional love because you don't believe you deserve it."
Damn.
And I was like,
Hurts.
yes, you are right. So I actually I'm usually there for a couple weeks at a time because they live out in California, and I live in Minnesota, so I don't live near them, but I actually ended up every single time I would get triggered by one of those four little gremlins doing things that were doing the most and still getting loved. I would go back to my little room and I would write a 4-line stanza to Black Madonna. So I'll read a couple of them to you if you don't mind. I pull them up on my laptop.
Oh yes, please.
Yeah. So I just called it a spell for reparenting. And every day I would go I was adding to it every single day. So I'll just read a few stanzas. If they seem repetitive, it's because they are. Okay. So
repetitive in the way that like a mantra is repetitive.
exactly,
right?
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So here's stanza 1. Black Madonna loves to mother me. I am not a burden to her. She delights in guiding my every step because I am her treasured child. Another one. Black Madonna loves to mother me. When my rage erupts like lava, she spelunks my inner volcano and quells the blazing fire. Another one. I'll read the third one. Black Madonna loves to mother me. She will never neglect or reject me. I can bring her my childish concerns. Yes, she loves to respond to my needs. And the last one, there's like 17, but here's the last one. I am Black Madonna's child. She will never regret me. My deepest truth is that I belong to her and that she loves to mother me. So I think, the thing about having an altar to a wild passing God is that you can take those really dysregulated moments and bring them to that God and place them on the altar and just say, what are you showing me? How can I be more free? How can I be more free? Because I don't have to hide this from you. I don't have to pretend like I'm more chill than I am. I don't have to pretend like I'm more mature than I am. I don't have to pretend like I trust you more than I do, or I know you more than I do. I can just be honest and then see what comes out of that. And so it's been giving me a chance to reparent myself and also weave attachment theory is so problematic and colonial, but weave a secure connection to the deity of my heart's desire, because I didn't get that as a child, not from my parents and not from White Male God. White Male God was like, you are a burden. White Male God was like, I hate having anything to do with you. White Male God was like, you better make yourself useful to me, or else I will literally kick you to the curb and banish you to hell. So I'm
and I'm gonna test you with
I'm
weird
gonna
like
test
kill
you.
your son.
Exactly, exactly. And so it's just like, I we get to bring these, and my tantrums are more around on feeling unloved, right? But other people's might be around other things, including you know, given the context of a lot of people in this, it could be around whiteness.
Mm.
I was a white mother again.
Mm.
I did that white mom thing. I did that
Mhm.
Karen thing. I did that, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, well, bring that to the
Mhm.
altar of the wild passing God. You don't have to hide that. Like Black Madonna wants us to be free. She'll tell you the truth, but
Mhm.
I've never, ever, ever felt shamed by her.
Mm.
Even when
Mhm.
she's like straight up, look, here's what I see. It's always, I always feel A, loved, and B, supported. She never says so much that I'm like overwhelmed and like, I don't even know where to begin. It's always like, yeah, that challenge, but a lot of support too. And so that I question, you know, if you're hearing shame, I'm like, I would check my own projections if I'm feeling shame from Black Madonna. So yeah, it's a lot.
I I re I mean, it's all a lot. You're contending with the whole universe.
Oh, I know. Matthew Fox was like, "You're writing a cosmology." Like
Yes.
you know, what I mean? He was just like, "This is a cosmology. It's not theology. It's not art. Like this." He's like, this is the big stuff that you're trying to do."
Yeah.
I'm like,
And truly, like what I did not expect from your newest book, The Black Madonna, available now, everyone buy it. Um, and why I will recommend it to everyone I know, regardless of anything about them, is that I I mean, a lot of us were not mothered or parented in the way that we wanted to be or needed to be. And I found in your book, Real or Imaginary, a mother.
yeah.
A mother that's gonna mother me the way that I want or need to be mothered. And
Yeah.
again, it doesn't feel like a draining, like I'm never gonna drain her of the amount of love and compassion that she has, no matter how many tantrums I have. She's always gonna have the energy for me. And just even, like I say, conceptually, having a place to put that mother void or having something to put into that mother void, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the same kind of thing happened with God is a Black Woman, but this is the next level for me of reading your work and feeling so relieved, I think maybe is the word, that you were articulating this thing that I had been longing for and longing for and longing for. So I just profoundly thank you for that. And listeners, like, just go buy this book. Whatever hesitation you're having, whatever, programming has told you maybe this isn't the book for you is incorrect. This, I know not everything is for everyone, but this book is for everyone.
Oh, Black Madonna's for everyone.
Black Madonna
Yeah.
is for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love hearing that too, your experience of mothering. And that's the thing that I love about Black Madonna, because, with God's Black Woman, I use she, her pronouns for her. I really think Black Madonna's pronouns are they, them, we, us. But like, one of the things that I really like about Black Madonna too is like she's such a good shapeshifter. She's such a powerful shapeshifter that like recently she was like, I'll be your daddy until you realize you don't need one. You know what I mean? Like it's like she wants us to be free. She wants us to be free, and she's the divine parent, among other things.
Yeah. And that's what I'm going to take from your book and from this conversation. So, God as a Black Woman was so revolutionary for me because 2022, I'm in the height of my deconstruction. Well, not the height. I mean, probably you know what I'm saying. And writing a dissertation about leaving the church. And so to have someone define what the white male God is, white male sky daddy. I mean, the like having that language, but now this transition, and it may be not even a transition. I don't want to, you have a word for what has happened between that book and now this book. I was really curious just reading like because it's a continuation, and there's nothing in God as a Black woman that isn't in the Black Madonna, but very like different ways of looking. So I was curious about that when I was reading, like as much as you or as little as you want to share what happened between 2022 and 2026 in the way that
Oh,
you
yeah.
evolved.
Yeah. So a few things. One, I was actually preparing for it. There was a lot, it changed my life. I was preparing for the podcast with you, Amy. I had never heard of Missing Witches. And so I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I want to listen to a few. So I looked for the Black people podcasts, and Nadra Niddle was being interviewed. And
The
that's
the
when
bell hook scholar.
Bell, yeah, right. She's a
Mhm.
Bell Hooks and Toni Morrison scholar, but she hadn't written the Bell Hooks book yet. It was I think she was on the podcast talking about the Toni Morrison book, but she made a side comment saying, but Bell Hooks was a devotee of the Black Madonna. And I was like, what? Because Bell Hooks has what, like 80 books? Who's read them all? Not me, right? So like I was like, what? And ever since that moment, I found the book. Um, read the book. It's from 2006, and I read about Bell Hooks's devotion to Black Madonna. And so basically from when I read that book, which was maybe like February 2022, right around when God is a Black Woman came out, every morning I would wake up, and I was living alone on 28 acres in a cabin in New Hampshire at the time. But every morning I would wake up and I would hear Bell Hooks saying, reclaim the Black Madonna, reclaim the Black Madonna for Black people. And I actually wrote a whole book proposal on anti-racism, going back into my safe place, because God as a Black woman was not my safe place. It was so vulnerable. It was so traumatic putting that book out into the world, right? That I was just like, I'm going to go back to my like professor hat, my like I have answers hat. This is what my PhD is in. This is what I do. And thankfully, I have a great agent. I sent her the proposal, and she's like, "This ain't it." Like, so she's just an honest, wonderful human. So then I just had to listen to this Bell Hooks haunting, loving haunting, which I also think is Black Madonna who wants me to be free. Right. And so I would say that, that was very powerful, and that led to me to really wanting to write a book that offered a Black Madonna spirituality for Black people by Black people. But then also, frankly, God as a Black woman was a massive failure, commercially. And there was all sorts of hype and high hopes around it. I had a large contract with Harper. It did not, I mean, who knows? Like, yeah, I'm not anywhere near paying back my advance.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
so when I brought the book, I had to bring my next book back to Harper, and they were just like, hell to the no.
Yeah,
Like,
we
you
already
still
lost
owe
money
us
on
money.
you, kid.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah. And so that whole experience was really hard on me, because so much, it was good. It was hard in the good way, right? Because so much of my ego was intertwined with that book, and I needed to be more free. I needed to be more free. I had made so many, I'm the kind of person who I do what I'm writing. And so like I personally made a lot of changes in my life while writing that book in order to be able to write that book with integrity. I left a marriage, I significantly altered family relationships, I left church community, I did a lot. And I didn't really know at the time that the success of that book was my way of saying, see, it was worth it. When really it was worth it for my freedom. I don't need the American marketplace to say it was worth it. Again, right? It's like this, I'm my birthright sacredness. I don't need anybody else to co-sign on the value of my freedom, you know? But these are the ways in which like it's this constant getting free. It's this constant. And luckily I had scheduled to go stay with my nibblings for like a month at that time. So like in March 2022. So I'm in the depths of like feeling like a huge failure, feeling like I put my whole life out there and like the market was like meh, right? And what's really a fun coincidence is Matthew Fox is this theologian who's become a mentor of mine. He happens to live in the same town as my nibblings. So whenever I see them, I see him. So we went for a long walk by the California shore, and he just said, to me, this is the purifying work. Like, you're lucky that it hasn't gone the way you want it to, because this is how it's healing your ego, and so it was helpful to have some perspective too from an elder who was able to just kind of be like, yeah, like, this is what's needed. So I think it was helpful. All of these things led to this book where I really just wanted it to be an offering. I really like, and this book obviously has a lot less of me in it. Like, I think Malcolm's in it more than I am, you know what I mean? In terms of like, and bless Malcolm, I deposit money into whenever I use their stories, I deposit money into their college fund. just
Nice.
to like, just because I'm like, I'm not trying to exploit Malcolm either, but like the stories are good. But like, it was one of those things where it was intentional. It's like, I want to tell the story of the Black Madonna, particularly in, the story of Black people in the Black Madonna. I don't want it to be, and I want it to be in service of more Black people and everybody, because if it's good for Black people, it's good for everybody. Feeling like they can claim her and be transformed by her. And I feel like God as a Black woman was so much my story, which isn't bad, but I think it might have been hard for people to see, well, what's my path to Black Madonna? Like, I'm not crazy enough to walk 400 miles across central France without knowing any French or knowing anything about being in the outdoors.
But luckily, Christena Cleveland is.
But so then kind of like, what's in it? Like, how do I connect? Which is why I was like, oh, let's do practices. Let's do, invocations. And I've never written poetry before. So that was, one of those vulnerable things, but it was fun. So
Thank you for sharing that piece of your story.
the ego.
I am sorry that it was a commercial failure. I don't see how, because for me it was so life-giving. And now Black Madonna is the next iteration. And so to go and sit with the exercises, especially I still have it in my notes, but the ones in the first 2 chapters where you're writing out what you need, and you're coming up with nicknames for her. That was really, really helpful. And one that's rising for me right now is she who's not going to be mad when I'm mad.
And also, she who's going to be mad when you're mad.
Yes. 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 And see, there's more of that nuance. Yeah. Wow. Christina, this was just incredible. Just be able to sit with you and hear about this.
She's so revelatory. She turns me inside out, while at the same time, I wouldn't even say patching me up. Like, something that's so much more thoughtful and proactive. She knits me, like, it's just, and I think I could, dwell in her realms forever. I remember reading the psalmist and being like, one day in your house is worth 1,000 elsewhere. And I'd be like, I don't really feel that way, but I'll sing the song. You know what I mean?
It sounds
like,
boring
I'm
as
a bad,
hell.
yeah, I'm a bad person for not feeling that way. But as soon as church is over, I'm ready to go. I want to go to the mall. I'm a teen or whatever. And now I'm like, actually, like, other than the fact that I can feel wildly naked and uncomfortable, I'm still drawn here. I still want to be here, and I want to get comfortable being here, get comfortable with being naked with the divine. I don't know.
Thank you so much for your time, both of you. Today we are celebrating LAMMAS, which is the halfway point between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. It is a time of abundance and protection spells and the leavening of not only bread but also liberation. Do you have maybe a bumper sticker version of how our listeners can incorporate Black Madonna into a LAMMAS celebration that they might be having today?
I wonder if there's a way for people to honor her as the mother of abundance, the source without source. Yeah.
Yes.
I think I would want to ask myself, how is Black Madonna sourcing me today? And how can I honor and give gratitude for that? And then pass it on so it's multiplied. Yeah.
You're perfect. I don't want to kiss your ass too much, but I do believe that you will be joining this rank of bell hooks,
Yes.
Audre Lorde, Christena Cleveland,
Yes.
the Black women who force us to rethink Blackness, womanhood, liberation, spirituality, all of the well integrated aspects of self that you have brought forth into your work, not just the books, everything you do. Thank you so much. Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
We're so grateful that you were born.
Yes.
But by way of closing the circle, could you read another
Sure.
invocation from your book?
Yeah, this is from chapter 6, so it's invocation 6. And this invocation is written to Black Madonna of Einsiedeln, Switzerland, Our Lady, the ominously dark forest. Mothers and, oh, excuse me, I'll start again. Mother of mystics and monks, weirdos and wanderers, we are burned out believers, awakening and longing for renewal. We hoped that light and certainty would make us whole. Yes, we made offerings, served faithfully, abided by the good book. But the church's bright lights and clamor of creeds, which promised fulfillment and a clear path to heaven, have left us disillusioned and agonized by a spiritual migraine. Woo our souls into your dark forest, where we can be born again. Zealous blaze, mama volcano, in your ominous forest you reign over fire and lava. Even the most powerful, cunning, and sinister forces cannot decimate what you have willed to live. Yes, you gather the flames that are meant to harm and transform them into holy molten fire that burns away all that stifles true life. When the fires of this world are set to destroy us, woo our souls into your dark forest, where we can be born again. Cosmic womb, even amid senseless pain, you liberate us from the need to know, the need to control, to see beyond our next step. In your forest womb, you quiet our senses, and we become fetuses again, free to depend. As we rest in you, your sacred umbilical cord feeds us a feast of peace that passes all understanding. Woo our souls into your dark forest, where we can be born again. Ashe.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Reed, for being here too. Happy LAMMAS, everyone. And go and purchase the Black Madonna immediately, listeners. Buy the audiobook and the ebook and the paper book. Get all three. You will want them for every part of your life. And happy LAMMAS. And
Happy
blessed
LAMMAS.
fucking be.
Blessed fucking be.
You must be a witch.